All right, you're at your house and you notice that your banister here is loose, just like this. And I have a bunch of kids, they like to grab onto these things, swing around, and I'm gonna show you guys how to fix this the DIY way. I am not a professional carpenter. I've watched a handful of videos and I took the information that I got from all of them and kind of created my own. I already did it to the other banister, so I know that it works. And this is a very simple and cheap fix, and we can make this thing look pretty good just for a couple bucks. So let me show you the tools that we're gonna need. Wood glue, flathead plug, 1/2 inch, a little rubber mallet, optional, some painter's tape, a 1/2 inch drill bit to go with the flathead plug, a 1/8 inch to drill a pilot hole for our 6-inch screws here, some 220 grit, sandpaper, and our trusty Senix drill. Now that we went over the supplies, you can see where the 4 spots are where they drilled in big screws, and then that's where they put in these flathead plugs and covered up the screws, sanded it, and stained it. So if you look on the side here, we have the 6-inch screws. You can see that after we drill our pilot hole in there, the 6-inch screw is going to go all the way into the step and it's going to secure the base of the banister. If you look over here, the drill bit, this is the 1/2 inch. I'm taking the painter's tape and going up against the flathead plug and just eyeballing how far I have to drill in and making a tape mark the same size as the plug. So what we're gonna do now is, this thing is basically centered, so in between the 4 holes that you saw there, I'm gonna drill one right in the center up to the painter's tape. That way we have our big hole for our plug. Then I'm gonna take the 1/8 drill bit, drill a hole, kind of like a pilot hole to get us all the way through and get the screw started so it drills right into the step. All right, so to get it started, center it right there. Start off slow. No need to rush. Let the tool do the work for you. Just about there. Right up to the tape, a little bit. There we go. Now, as you can see, we got our nice little hole there. Now we're going to take our 1/8 and drill right in the center of that as our true pilot hole for our 6-inch screw. Now we have our 1/8 drill bit. We're going to drill right in the center. Once again, let the tool do the work for you. All the way in. There we go. And this is what it looks like inside. Now we're going to take our 6-inch screw, insert it in there, and drill all the way through. Now we're going to take our screw, got it in there. And there it is. And as you could see before, how it was shaking, now we are rock solid. We're going to take the wood glue, our little plug, put a little bit of glue on there, and then we're just going to take the little rubber hammer and just slightly tap it in there. This is not necessary. The other one, I used a piece of wood, and I used the little hammer, and I kind of just slightly tapped it because I didn't want to hit the hammer directly onto the post. I went out and picked this up for $8 over at Menards, and it's just a nice soft rubber. So now I can just tap this thing in there, and then we have a little rag. We'll wipe up the excess glue, give it a little sand, and then we'll stain it. And you won't even be able to tell that we were ever even here. So let's finish this job up. All right. As you can see, that is pretty flush. There's a couple microfibers there that we're going to sand down. So now I'm going to do a light sanding. I have 220 grit here. And there it is. Now we stain it. So now what I've done is taped around the bottom because we're going to stain and I don't want to get anything on the tile. And I did the sides and the top and the other side because the stain that we do have is close, but it's not a perfect match. So I just want to do the face of it because I'm not going to take this whole banister off and take it to the store for them to color match it. This was the best I could do with taking a picture on my phone and bringing it there. So now we stain it all just on one side. And there it is, team. One more coat, and it'll be nice and even. Now, there's a couple things that I would have done different. I would have got a lighter stain, but I already stained that one over there, so I had to stain this one to match it. And honestly, when you look at it on an angle, it kind of looks just like a shadow. But second, I was using that brush. That was an old brush. Don't do that. That thing was crusty, and I started doing it, and you could see the brush strokes. So I ended up taking a cloth, or the glue cloth, as you could see, and I used the clean end and distributed the stain evenly across the board. And I got one coat on here. One more coat, you won't be able to tell. And I think that's probably the proper way to do it, is to use a cloth like that. But I'm a DIY dad trying to save a couple bucks here. And some of those videos that you guys have probably been looking at, using all kinds of angle tools, and it's like, you know, some people are putting nails through the ground. It's like straight dumpster fire for videos out there. So I figured this out, you know, seems like common sense, and figured I'd show you guys, you know, because if I can do it, you can do it. So here's a couple of my deck builds that I did on my own. Once again, not a woodworker, just wanted to save money. Built a couple decks for $600 and I was quoted for $5,000. And yeah, I do all my own stuff around the house and around the property. So hopefully I earned your subscription. Hit that subscribe button if you found this helpful, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.